Why do our modern homes equipped with the latest technologies so often feel empty? We have built shelters for our bodies, but have we forgotten how to build a home for our souls? We live in an age of architectural paradox. We can build higher, faster, and more efficiently than ever before. Our cities are monuments to human iniquity, filled with structures of steel and glass that defy gravity. But in this relentless pursuit of progress, a profound sense of loss has begun to creep in, a feeling of alienation. We have created what I call anywhere architecture, buildings so generic they could exist in Jakarta, Berlin, or Sao Paulo with no discernible difference. These buildings are technically brilliant, but they are often culturally mute. They are strong in function, but weak in meaning. The result is a deep, unspoken crisis. A crisis of ecology as our homes now fight against nature instead of living with it. Demanding constant air conditioning, ignoring the sun, ceiling of the wind. And a crisis of the soul as we find ourselves living in commodity boxes, not cosmic homes. We have mastered the science of building, but have we forgotten the art of dwelling? So the question is not whether we can build better, but whether we can live deeper. What ancient wisdom did we abandon in our race to modernity? The answer lies in a word that has been largely forgotten by the modern world, Sastra. Sastra is not superstition, it is not nostalgia, it is an alternative epistemology, a different way of knowing. While modern science finds truth in the controlled environment of a laboratory, Sastra finds it by reading the grand, open laboratory of the cosmos itself. In the Nusantara archipelago, as in many ancient cultures, Sastra was the foundational science. There was Vastu Sastra, the science of architecture, or Ayurveda Sastra, the science of medicine, even Artha Sastra, the science of economics. Its core principle is not domination over nature, but harmony with it. The practitioner of this science, the Vastuvidya, was not just a designer. He was an interpreter of the cosmos, a cultural technician who understood that a building is not an object, but a microcosm of the universe, a place where the human, the natural, and the spiritual must align. This local science manifests as practical ecological wisdom. A traditional taboo or pamali against building a house facing the river is not irrational fear. It's a deeply embedded understanding of flood risk and humidity. The principle of placing a kitchen in the southeast is not arbitrary. It aligns with the morning sun for hygiene and the cosmic element of fire or Agni. Modern architecture asks, how can we solve this problem technically? Sastra asks, how can we live in harmony with this place? One seek is to impose order, the other seeks to discover it. And this shift in questioning changes everything. This is not a call to abandon progress. We cannot and should not return to the past. The solution is not dichotomy but synthesis. We must build a bridge between the technical power of modernity and deep wisdom of Sastra. How? By treating Sastra not as a style to be copied, but as a framework for ecological and cosmological design. First, the suburban home. Instead of a uniform grid where houses face the road, burning under the western sun, we apply Sastra. The orientation follows the morning sun. The layout is organized around a central mandala and open family room that acts as the home's spiritual core. Modern materials are still used, but the home now breathes with the environment, not against it. Second, the public school. Instead of a generic shield of concrete box that requires constant air conditioning, we apply Sastra. The building is oriented to maximize cross ventilation. A central courtyard becomes the school's Brahmastana, a communal heart that connects students to light, air, and each other. The result is a learning environment that is not only energy efficient but also healthier and more human. Finally, the commercial mall. Instead of an enclosed, disorienting labyrinth of consumption, we apply Sastra. The mall's layout can be inspired by a mandala, providing clear orientation and sense of cosmic order. Natural light is brought into a central atrium, reconnecting shopper with the time of day and the world of outside. The building ceases to be just a machine for selling and starts to become a true public square. This is the so what. Sastra teaches us that a building has their own politics, their own will, and how it influences our behavior in it. In this way, Our inner psyche is formed through a series of habitual actions, perception of the environment, range of thinking within spatial limits, and behavior which is then combined into a constant attitude. It is either an instrument of disconnection, severing us from nature, from our culture, and from ourselves, or it is an instrument of harmony. The choice is ours. Modernity gave us the tools to build anything we can imagine, but Sastra reminds us of what is worth imagining in the first place. A world where our buildings do not just shelter us, but also connect us to the cosmos and to ourselves. Look around the room you are in right now. What is its soul trying to tell you? Share your thoughts in the comments below.